Hey there, Mater. What you up to? Oh, hey there, buddy. I'm just doing some fishing. Nice. Have you caught anything yet? Nothing yet, but I think I'm pretty close. Alrighty then. Well, I'm gonna head back to town. Let me know if you need anything. Will do. Hey, I found some. What did you find? This here tree. Merry Christmas, buddy. Merry Christmas, Mater.
Hello everybody, and welcome to day 4 of 25 Days of Suggestions 2025. Now, before we begin today's episode, I want to give a huge thank you to Rusty's95 for creating that very sweet and wholesome holiday sketch you saw at the beginning of this episode. He is the first of many special guests you'll be seeing across 25 Days of Suggestions this year, so huge shout out to him. Now today, of course, we're going to be taking a look at Impound Lightning McQueen, a suggestion from Kevin's Cars Reviews. Thank you so much for the suggestion, as always. And if you would like to suggest a car for 25 Days of Suggestions, suggestions are still open. They will be closing after tomorrow. So tomorrow, December 5th, 2025, is the final day you could suggest cars for this year. You can suggest any car in my collection, so long as it abides by the rules. Make sure to check out my rules video before you leave a suggestion. And yeah, Impound Lightning McQueen is an item that I'm very excited to take a look at. This is a car that I've taken a look at several times in the history of my channel. I've reviewed him a couple of times, most recently in early 2023 as a birthday request. He was also featured in my Spotlight series. I talked quite extensively about him in diecast history. This is genuinely, I think, one of the greatest Lightning McQueen diecasts of all time. It is so insanely film accurate for a 2009 release. It's honestly really incredible. Of course, while this is based on a regular McQueen mold, he has not only an exclusive facial expression, he also, of course, has the parking boot molded on here. Now, the thing is, this McQueen came out at a time where expressions were very rarely changed across Cars diecasts. Back in the day, basically every McQueen diecast had the exact same face with very little change. It's not like today, where they go out of their way to give almost every single new variant of every character a new face. No, this was one of the first ever McQueens to have a different face other than like Cruisin' McQueen. And man, what an incredibly accurate face he was given. This is, I genuinely believe, to this day, one of the all-time best Cars diecast facial expressions. I did a video a while back, I think earlier this year, going over the worst Cars diecast facial expressions ever. If I were to do a list of the best, this would probably be in my top 3. This looks like it was ripped right from the movie. Both the eyes and the mouth are an absolutely perfect match to McQueen when he's in the courthouse and he's kind of nervous about what's going to happen to him now that he has been impounded. And speaking of perfect matches, oh my gosh, the impound boot on this item looks so incredibly good. This has such excellent dirt detailing. You know, I talk a lot about how modern Cars diecasts have really great weathering detail, and this is one of the oldest examples of a car with excellent weathering detail I could think of. Look at the wear and tear and dirt and dust and grime on that boot. It honestly almost looks like it's covered in dust, like actual real dust. It's not. It's just painted on there very, very well. And one of the coolest things about this item, and about all of the impound boot diecasts, is the fact that its rolling is actually hindered. You can roll him okay-ish. Obviously not nearly as well as a regular car. The boot being there does actually prevent that front wheel from moving, and basically prevents this wheel from moving as well, although of course this one is free rolling. Yeah, it's just, I mean, honestly, I applaud them for making a toy car that doesn't function. Going out of their way to make sure this is 100% accurate. A lesser toy line would have maybe just, you know, kept this yellow circular part and not done this part, or maybe cut a hole in the middle so it could still roll. But no, they went out of their way, designed a whole parking boot that wraps around the wheel, and reused this accessory on several occasions, of course. We've also seen it on all the Impound tuners who were released the same year as this McQueen, and more recently on Vladimir Trunkov with boot. They were going to do a Rod Redline with boot, but that was canceled, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, super crazy, well-detailed, well-designed item here. And the interesting thing is, and the thing that honestly bothers me about this car, which I've been doing nothing but giving heaps of praise to this whole review, he was a chase. And while usually I don't have a problem with that, it's items like this where I'm like, okay, like I get it. It's kind of a special item, but this item is not only insanely good, it's also incredibly important to the movie. And I don't think an item like this should have been restricted to the chase format, where Mattel's own rules say that cars that are chases can never be released. Now, Mattel recently lifted their rule on chases and have started re-releasing some past chases, and in 2026 are expected to re-release some super chases. And ever since they started doing that, re-releasing chases, Impound McQueen has been on the top of my list for a re-release. This is an item that as many Cars fans as possible need to be able to have in their collection. And I think it's also an item that kids absolutely love, because again, it's so cool to have a toy car that doesn't function fully. Like, I just think that's such a cool thing. It's so different. We got all of the secondary sponsor logos there. For some reason, mine has a very thick white outline around them. But you got Nitro, the piston cap, revolting, boot springs, octane gain, no stall, Vitaline, gas burn, gaskets, easy idle, little turkey pistons, RPM, leak lead, retread, and clutch aid. I'm so used to reading that. I'm going to like be at my wedding and they're going to ask me for the vowels and I'm accidentally going to say all of those instead. Number 95 there, McQueen signature up top. 95 and his little wind flaps, Rusty's logo back there. Of course, one of the early McQueens to have that correct Rusty's logo, a detail added to the rest of McQueen's only a year earlier in 2008. Rusty's medicated bumper ornament with his yellow rookie stripe down there. There is a look at the other side, notably Impound boot free. And finally, there is a look at the base. And like I showed earlier, you can see how the boot is locked into the base of the car. Genuinely such a good diecast, very well designed, and I think one of the most underrated and best designed McQueen diecasts of all time. This is really, truly a great one. Now, before we end for the day, we of course have to run the random name picker for tomorrow's review. So let's find out together what tomorrow's review will be. I got a couple of reviews yesterday, so I added them to the list. Okay, but now what we're going to do is we got to remove Impound McQueen. So we got to delete him from the list now that he's been reviewed. And now we run the name picker and we see who tomorrow's video will be. And it is Professor Z. Okay, all right, you know what? That is one I'm very excited about. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this episode of 25 Days of Suggestions. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Professor Z. Bye now.